Wow, this person's art is so cool. I wonder how did they draw their art?
Hey, I heard you're curious on my progress and how I draw. No further than this video that I'm making. Hopefully, this video will answer your curiosity.
Oh wow, so this is a tutorial then? We get to see how you draw your art and stuff?
Sure, you can put it that way. So, it's been a good 2 whole months since I made a video on the channel. Lots of things happened, and probably because I'm back to playing Pokemon Kingdom again. So anyway, let us start the video already. Also note, before we dive into the good stuff, I want to say that this won't be a complete, detailed, like quote-unquote tutorial walkthrough of how I draw. Why? Because that's not how I roll. You'll see later when we get there. Also, I just realized that maybe this is more like a walkthrough more than anything, because again, it's not the step by step. I'm just like mainly showing you guys how the process of how I do stuff, how I draw, and what the steps I usually go, and stuff like that. Section 1: Idea and feelings. So when it comes to art, mostly I'm pretty flexible, but believe it or not, feelings also comes to play. These are some of the questions that will come to mind. First, do I want to draw? Second, do I feel like I want to draw? Third, what art program do I use? 4, what are the brushes? And 5, how will the art turn out, or what is the art style that I'll be drawing in? Now, I know some of these are specific, but that's just how my brain is trained these days. But these do matter, especially the brushes part. I'll explain the brushes one now. When I don't use the right brushes for a piece, I won't be motivated to draw that piece because it just feels wrong or not comfortable. I don't know why, but I will get uninterested on the drawing and continue tomorrow and find the right brushes for the piece. This includes both the art program and the art style. Okay, now that that's settled, let's answer the questions that I previously stated. Do I want to draw? Yes. Do I feel like I want to draw? Yes. What art program do I use? I'll explain this part later on, but today I will use Paint Tool Site 2. What are the brushes? I'll pause in between the video and show you guys the brushes. Settings, hopefully I remember everything. If I do miss some stuff that I didn't record, and then how will the art turn out, or the art style. So the art style here, just a mix and match. Like I just switched to different techniques in the video, and I will show you guys that also later. And the art style is just something messy, so we just start with a sketch or something. This is what I have in mind. Okay, what I have in mind is the sketch. I want the sketch to be the quote-unquote line art. So we just sketch and then immediately go to cleaning, and then we go to color. Now, this is where our good old buddy Pinterest will help us. And here it is. I will link their post and account in the description, of course. I'm going to use this base that they draw for this drawing. Now, for the characters, of course, I'll be choosing my 2 characters that have redesigned. Noxef, yes, that's how you spell his name, and Solarius. They need our proper art together, so this might be it. Also, I just realized I've drawn these kind of poses like 3 times, I think. I don't know why, but there's something about those poses that I've done multiple times. I don't know. If you ask me, I don't know. It's like that. Section 2: Program and Brush Choosing. This section is a short one, basically. If I don't have a program or brush set in mind, I'll try to get a decent feel for each art program I have and see which one suits me best for drawing, and testing out which brushes I will use in the process. Section 3. Sketching out the general idea. Self-explanatory here. My process here is simple. I just lay out the sketch, the first thing that comes to mind if I don't have a base to guide me. But since I do have right here, and this is simple, I just replace the characters, use the base for reference, and enjoy. It is now day 2. As you can see, I've done some refining to this sketch. It is different and I did some resizing and such, so it's more clear for me to render later. Also, I kind of want to show you guys how I turned that earlier sketch to this one right here. The steps are actually pretty simple. I'll show you guys how. Basically, what you have to do is to duplicate your sketch layer here. Since my sketch layer is in a folder, so I have to copy the folder and merge it in one. And here's a little neat paint tool site 2 trick, or just paint tool site in general trick that I learned. So let's say you want to select something in this one specific layer, which is in my case my sketch. But I'm not gonna go to the magic wand tool and select the empty areas. That's too much work. So what I want you to do is hover your mouse to the cover of the layer, the preview of the layer right here, and I want you to click Control, and that will automatically select the sketch for you, so you don't have to do magic wand and then fill in and then invert, something like that. It will select all the visible lines on that specific layer. I don't know if it works for multiple layers, but right now I'm just trying it on one layer. Now I want you guys to pay attention. I want you to Markiplier jingle jingle. Pay attention to what I'm gonna do next. And then we click Alt Delete. just erase the layer. You can see that some of the lines here is so like low density and also too thin. So if you want to fix that, then you can go to that earlier, like your original layer sketch, and mess with the opacity like I'm doing right now to make it more visible. After that, you can just color it like I did right here, and then voila, it's done. Now I just need to color and render it. To stop the speed paint right there, I want to show you guys another little cool trick that I do when auto coloring line art. So you have your line art or sketch right there. You want to copy that 2 times above the original layer. And since in the speed paint right here I did it a little wrong earlier, so those 2 duplicate layers that you made, put those two overlay layers above the normal mode layer, which is the original layer. So after you decide to choose the colors for the 2 overlay layers, it can be the same color. Okay, it doesn't have to be different, but you do, for the normal layer, you do have to make it darker, so for it to be more effective. So on the normal layer, now the magic will happen. You have to lower the density, the opacity of the layer to 50 or 60, whatever your preference is, whatever looks good on you. And then there you go. So here, this is a better example. Since the liner here is a little thinner, oh yeah, I forgot. I think it works better, for this trick works better if you have like a thin line art than a thicker one like here that I have on the original sketch. That's why it doesn't show like a good job of it. It is day 3, and I think you can tell I got a little lazy on day 3 and to day 5 because it's short. I didn't record for long. So yeah, but for day 3, not much. I just continue on rendering, but I'll use a different technique this time than my usual. So on this technique right here, as you can see on the screen later, is that I use the selection tool and shape out the outline and then fill it, and then I render it. it is now day 4, still rendering. Also, I just realized on editing right now that day 5 I'm basically finished, just putting on the the textures and stuff. So I'll see you there. It is now day 5, nearing the end of the walkthrough. Before we get into me editing the art, I'm gonna put the last details, the leaves and the window on the background. I just search it on Pinterest and slap it on there. So yeah. I legit have to make a new brush just for making the leaves right here, because I don't know why, but none of the brushes that I have are comfortable enough for me, so I have to make a new one. But you don't have to, by the way. You don't have to make a new brush just for the leaves. You can just use a default brush that has pointy ends and start and mimic the brush of the leaves like that. So yeah, I don't know. That's just like that, for me. Here's the finished art piece before the texturing, by the way. Here's a little before and after for you guys to see. A lot of textures that I use for this piece. Many pieces actually that I use, so I can't count, so I can't remember all of them. So if someone asks what textures do you use, I just stand there and be like, I don't know, I'm sorry. It's a lot, okay? But here, you guys can see all of them right here and right now. All these textures are not from the original paint to size, not built in. Some of them, maybe aquarelle, that's how we pronounce it. Yes, that one, aquarella or whatever, that is built in, but the others aren't. Some of them aren't, okay? And you'll have to search the internet for that one, because again, I searched high and low for those textures that I had on my old computer. So after I'm done with my art and I just need to go to the editing phase. The editing phase, I usually have 3 art programs, which is to go for Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, and then Paint Tool. For Paint Tool, mainly just for textures, and then maybe some finishing touches or any corrections. After I'm done with the whole editing phase, for Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint is basically checking the color values. I adjust the colors as well, and using gradient maps to make the colors more pop and stuff like that. So Paint Tool, done with the art. Photoshop, and then Clip Studio Paint, back to Photoshop, and then Paint Tool. So I add the textures first before the noise texture. Noise textures is always last or near last, but never the first thing. I don't know why, but that will affect how the textures will look and how the art piece will look. So color changes first, textures, and then grain. Adding the grain texture. Editing me here. Okay, I forgot I wanted to add another last detail to the art. So I want to blur the background so the character pops out more. Since I already finished my art, you will be like, oh no, I already finished my art. What do I do? It's too late, right? No, it is not too late. What you can do is open up the original file here, side by side, so the art, the PNG, and then the original file. I want you to go to the original file, do the trick that I told you guys last time, the control and hover your mouse over the layer thing. I think it can be a folder too, so it's fine if it's a folder, it's fine if it's a single layer. So since mine is on a single, and I will select the silhouette, and then I go up and then make a new layer. I fill it with a random color, and then I cut that or copy it, and then copy it to the finished piece on PNG above it. Since it's already above, so you just need to select the copied layer again, invert it, and then you go down to the original art piece, right? And then you can just blur it using the Gaussian blur or anything you have in your art program, and then there you go, easy as pie, right? And there you have it. That's how I draw, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. My first video in a very long time, by the way. And my first long form video as well. Wow, I know there's a bunch of grammar mistakes. There's me stuttering. I'm sorry about that, okay? I don't have a mic also, so sorry for the terrible mic quality. I'm so sorry about that. Well, I hope this video answers your curiosity, and I hope it, maybe you guys will learn something from this video, I hope. And, see you on my next video.